sight is a bit disturbing being a teenager because I want to fit in, I guess. And sometimes I feel not having sight does not allow that, and other times maybe I do fit in more because of my loss of sight. I have a couple of very good friends. I think they can see past the blindness. I guess they don't look at it. They look at me as a person. And I think I look at them as a person, not being able to see their exterior. I see their hearts and how they treat me.
When Kyle was born, he was born 3 months early. He had the lung disease called hyaline membrane disease. Other than that, he was just very, very teeny and very sick from that, and it took a long time for his lungs to develop, and in the course of that, he had to have oxygen from the respirator, which pushed the air through his lungs and his veins. And because his eyes, the veins in his eyes were so tiny, it burst them, and so that's why he's blind.
This family's no different than any other, I guess. We have our usual disagreements and probably deal with it in the same way other brothers deal when they have a disagreement. Argue and argue and argue. When my brothers and I play games, they're usually adapted so that I can play, and to even up the odds, we have my opponent put a blindfold on. Maybe that shifts the balance and makes me have the advantage because I've been blind and they're not used to the blindfold.
The biggest thing for Kyle in the family with his being visually impaired is that we have to make sure that things are not left out in the middle of the floor for him to trip on. The doors aren't half open so that he can run into them. When we get out of the car, we have to make sure that somebody has a hold of him. In the store, we have to make sure that he's got a hold of the shopping cart or something so that we don't leave him behind. Although Kyle hates to shop. he can't touch anything when he shops, and so it's real boring for him for that. But most of the time, life goes right on as normal.
Before I was able to walk, I was touching the piano keys and realizing each one of them made a different sound.
Kyle's been one of my most interesting students here at Wasatch Junior High. This is my second year, and Kyle came in last year as a 7th grader. I obviously noticed his handicap, and then went beyond that and noticed that he had a wonderful musical talent, and beyond the musical talent, had a theatrical talent to go with it. I immediately put him into the Music Man as one of the members of the Barbershop Quartet. Kyle's got a wonderful sense of humor in that he can laugh at himself as well as other people and fit right into a group of people, no problems. We were getting ready to practice one afternoon, and 3 of the members are facing the audience, and Kyle's facing the back curtain. And after I corrected that, the scene went off as planned. Kyle has no problem with that. I drove in one morning into the parking lot a bit on the late side, wintry, snowy day. Kyle's out in the parking lot throwing snowballs. And I asked him who he was throwing at, and if he did hit somebody, where would he go hide? Kyle thinks stuff like that is extremely funny, and so do the rest of us. Kyle, this year as an 8th grader now, is playing Professor Gardella in The Unsinkable Molly Brown. And with his perfect pitch, he's the perfect pianist for my garden party for scene 9. And then he comes back in the second act, and he's part of the pie-throwing, fist-fighting scene, and comes out completely unscathed, and everybody is tiptoeing through this fight to avoid Kyle, and Kyle could care less one way or another. Kyle has been a major asset here at Wasatch, and I really enjoy working with him.